Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of PoCommunity. I'm Mike Arboit, and on today's show, we welcome Michael Young from MJY Fabrications, a wicked wood fabrication company creating some cool projects. Check it out. Welcome to PoCommunity. My guest today is Michael Young. How's it going, Michael?
It's going pretty well. How about yourself?
Pretty good today. So yeah, you represent MJY Fabrication?
That's correct. That's my company. Wanted me to go into a little bit of detail about kind of what we do? Or
tell me the history, like what it is, what you do.
So what we are, we're a specialty manufacturer. We tend to make more wood-based products. So we do things from custom furniture and millwork all the way to really crazy things for events. We've done giant sunglasses. That's one of the things that always comes up. People love that one. We're basically the guys you go to when you don't know who else to go to for the really unique stuff, which is one of the main reasons I started the company, was to make cool stuff. And it's one of the big draws that people like to work with us, whether it's employees, team members, or clients.
That's amazing. That sounds like something you probably fell in love doing when you were younger.
Absolutely. I've been in sort of the art world for a long time. I was actually an actor when I was a lot younger for years, but try to be an actor like for real as a career, it's very tough. I've got friends that have tried, and it's just, you always end up doing something else. So I ended up going sort of behind the scenes. I took training in like theater stagecraft, which basically just gave me an overview of some of the stuff you can do behind the scenes in theater and TV and film a little bit. So I worked a little bit for some event companies, a little bit like that, and I saw an avenue to do higher end work. I could do that. So what I did and I ended up doing was I got a red seal in cabinet making to elevate my skills. So it's sort of like a degree in the trades. And that's after that I opened up the whole company and moved into my current space.
So how long have you guys been around?
So we've been in the space. This is our 5th year in the space now. We're just in Burnaby. And I've been doing this sort of on the side for the last 10 years.
Oh, crazy. That's awesome. Did you take any like shop class too?
I did. When I was in high school, like it always starts off with everybody, I took the shop class, and I remember I didn't take it the first few years of high school, but I took it at the end. And I remember most of the guys to begin with hated me because I wanted to make stuff, and they were sort of just sliding by. You know, shop class can kind of be a bunch of yahoos a little bit. But I made the teacher, you got to teach me. I want to make this and that. And I made big projects. And that's, I think, where it really came the joy of love, or the love of like woodwork and manufacturing, making something. It's super satisfying. I'd say that's where the spark for that side of things came into play.
That's cool. So like what actually made you take that leap of faith and start your own company?
I think a little bit of madness, a little bit of psycho things, but realistically what it was I saw what other people were doing, and I don't like to be told what to do. I'm somebody that has a hard time. Yeah. The standard entrepreneur sort of mindset is I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to do something I don't want to do. So what makes the most sense? Do whatever I want to do by creating my own thing. I also saw the quality of some of the things that were coming out, and I saw like I didn't like it. I don't like what some of the other companies were necessarily doing. Not to throw down any companies. Everybody does good work in their own ways. But I saw an avenue that, you know, these creative builds, there's not that many people doing them. I love doing it. So I was a maker, and I started a company, which is not necessarily the best thing to do because I didn't have a business background. So, you know, there's been a lot of struggle with that. You know, first 3 years, I had a business partner that didn't end up working out. And you know, not being a business person for real, like not having that training behind me, I had some. It was a lot of struggle, but it's getting better and better every year. Like I have staff now, I make a living off of this now, and we're consistently growing every year.
Well, yeah, you say like 5 years. Obviously, there was a 2-3 year period there that's pretty rough. So you're probably just getting the grip on your shoes as a business the first couple of years, and then to be hit with COVID. The dreaded C word.
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit how you dealt with that as a company.
That actually was not bad for us at all. Cool. Because I'd started to plant seeds in the marketing sense for connecting with people. And I landed the biggest job at that point we'd done. We built an entire museum space, a museum in Vancouver, which strangely enough, we're actually tearing down next week.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, COVID, because we were able to pivot because we're a smaller company, we went from the events industry, which died completely during COVID, of course, into doing custom millwork and residential. You know, everybody's looking at their homes while they're sitting at home, and they're all thinking, "I want something better." So that actually kind of helped, along with the large contract right off the top. Right when everything's shut down, this contract came in for us, and that sort of kept us going. So COVID wasn't great. There was definitely tough times, but I would say it didn't necessarily destroy us like it did some of the bigger guys.
Is what are some of the like coolest projects you've done?
I'd say definitely the giant pair of sunglasses. They were massive sunglasses we did for a big client for an event. Some of the other ones we've done, trying to think about what else. There's a cool one we were trying to get, which it was a custom arcade game. We've done, what's another one? We're doing some pretty unique benches for a mall right now. So they call them benches. If you looked at them, you might not really think they're benches though, but that's a really cool one that's on the go right now. It's a mixed bag of stuff. Sometimes we do very standard things, but I'd say definitely the sunglasses is one of the coolest ones. We have also done we did a custom entry for Red Bull for one of their exclusive events.
Nice.
That looked like a fridge. So that was super cool. It tends to be like the branding activities or events that we do the cool stuff for the most part. So, you know, like for Red Bull, we've worked for Red Bull, done something cool. The museum space is pretty neat too. We did some neat like wall pieces, display cases, things like that. So, in general, most things are pretty cool, but everybody always is drawn to those sunglasses, which are actually in the head office of the client now. They like them so much, they put them up in their head office. So, yeah, that's probably the coolest one among many other interesting things that are maybe not coming to mind right away.
Yeah, it's always hard being put on the spot.
Yeah.
But like, you say your background growing up, you were into acting, you're into like stagecraft and everything. Do you have a goal of doing stuff with film?
Eventually, I do. In fact, we're getting into film a little bit more. We just did a custom like backlit sign for, I don't know if it's a TV show or a movie. She wasn't totally clear, but a production designer just came to us with that. So the one thing about that was when it was just me, the turnaround time for film work is so fast. Like we had to build a custom sign in one day and they had to pick it up the next day.
Yeah.
So that's the tricky thing when you don't have the resources and the people to do that. I did pursue that, and that was sort of a goal to begin with, was the film industry, because obviously film industry has a lot of money. But I think down the line, we are looking to do a little bit more of that. And personally, down the line, I'm actually looking to invest in feature films. I have a friend that's a film producer, so he's starting off and starting to grow. So eventually I would like to start getting into executive producing just as an investor, but we'll see where that goes. That's sort of maybe far off.
It's always nice to bring your passions into your work, and if your work is passion, it's always even bigger plus. And it sounds like that's kind of what you have here, because I'm not in that industry that you're in. I don't have much knowledge. I did used to be a supervisor at a cabinet manufacturing company, but I think there's like, with woodwork, I feel like there's two different kinds of careers in it. It's like the repetitive, just build this standard shelf or cabinet. And then there's the creative side where it is art. It's not just an IKEA shelf, right? You know what I mean?
100%.
So being having the art background, how has it been like basically doing trades work, but still with an artistic value to it?
It's been great. I mean, if it wasn't for the company I started, I would probably be very bored by now. I work for high-end cabinet shops, and it's interesting. But there's no real challenge in that compared to what we do now. I wouldn't be able to do what we do without the base of that, but you're totally right. There's definitely two sides. There's the super custom, and then there's basically the IKEA. And to be honest, I'll send people to IKEA. I'll say, I think what you want is IKEA here, not what we're offering, because it's a different thing. It's a totally different beast. But it's without, working in a cabinet shop is definitely different. Like some of my staff they come from cabinet shops, and they actually will take a pay decrease because I'm not a giant company to work with me and do the stuff we're doing, because it's so different, so creative, so unique, and so open to sort of interpretation. A lot of the work we do, we're almost designing it together with the client, or we're full on designing it sometimes. So I would definitely agree completely that there's IKEA and like the, the cabinetry that goes into, say, like a whole condominium or something, right? I never touch anything like that. I don't bother quoting on it. I don't look at it
Yeah.
because it wouldn't make any sense. And that's not an avenue that, brings pleasure to me or the people that work with me.
Yeah. So you said earlier that you've just started bringing on staff. How hard has it been to find staff that are like in the same mind frame as you doing this kind of work?
It has been strangely easy, in fact, and I haven't really had to find them. They've found me. Strangely, like my biggest, my main staff member, he's been with me the longest now. He came through a client that I built some custom display cases for. They knew that we did what we do, and he's been with me. I would say he's been with me, I guess, a couple years now or something. And what I find is once people who have that creative juice in them, they've got that passion, they want to work with me. They want to find avenues to work together because they can do design. I'm very supportive as well. One of the big things that I work with in general is a with, not for mentality. So I don't want to be your boss. We're a team. I do the same thing with clients, and I say that all the time, with, not for, because to me, I want to collaborate. I want to work together with you to find solutions. If we're all working together, we'll all do well. And that's how I work with my team as well. And when new team members come in, I make it very clear that I'm here to support you, and people come first always. I know when I've worked for other people in the past, if you're sick or there's some family reason you need to not come in, you might be a bit nervous to say that or ask. Every time I say yes, within reason, because it's all about people, and everything we do as well, in the end, is about people.
Yeah.
That's like, we're not pumping up cabinetry. We're building things that connect people together. Yeah. Like, that's the with, not for. It just is the overarching thing for everything, right? You build a giant pair of sunglasses, it's cool, but what it's doing is bringing people together. They want to look at it. They want to touch it. They want to be a part of that. They think it's cool. They talk to each other about it. That's really the main point that I try to push with everything, no matter what it is that we do.
Yeah, that's pretty damn cool, man. And then, like, being able to create your own stuff, like doing what you're doing. Yeah. What kind of stuff have you done for yourself? Like, created for yourself?
I don't do much for myself. Yeah. To be honest, when I have time off, I don't want to be making anything.
What about like back in the day? Like, but when you first started?
I've made furniture. I've made like nightstands and cabinetry. But I don't know. I've not made, it's sort of the classic thing. Like, if, my example would be if somebody has a pickup truck, they don't want to use the pickup truck all the time if they don't have to, it's for work. Or the cabinetry, cabinet maker, they don't have beautiful cabinets for themselves. I guess I could. My staff make cool things. Yeah. That's one thing I'm really supportive of. Like, one of my guys, there was some spare black walnut, and he made this beautiful coffee table out of it. I think I'm too busy driving the business to keep going and going and going that I almost don't care to put time into my own stuff. I'm more interested in building up the people around me and stuff. But I have built a few things here and there for sure. Don't get me wrong. I do like to make stuff, and it's cool. But owning a business, you're always a little bit of cash conscious. So the paying of making stuff is also a big part of it.
I think I overheard earlier that you're stepping away from the making of stuff too. It's more of your staff doing it for you now?
Exactly. I don't really make anything that much anymore in the shop itself. I'm up in the upper office doing client calls, meeting people, connecting with other people. I do know how to make everything, so I oversee making sure that things are going to be made effectively. I provide equipment, I support, I buy material, and I am the one that decides how things will be done and how we're going to choose to manufacture, or making sure that the quality is still there. But I've found over time that it doesn't make any sense, and in fact, it's a hindrance if I'm making the stuff. Yeah. Because it doesn't allow me to continue to grow the business, which is a very strange sort of thing to have changed over, because I was a maker. Like, I made everything to begin with. The first few years, I was the one that made everything. If something came out of the shop, I was making it. But I've doubled revenue in the past year, and that's only because I've stepped away from manufacturing, which is sad in a way, but it's also exciting because I like to just, in general, see things being made. I don't have to be the one making it.
Yeah, that's very true. When you first started the company and you're like, it was just you, I'm picturing. Yeah. What was the first project, the big project you got paid to do?
I made a very custom coffee table or side table out of black walnut. So that was actually through the company that I had left. They're still supporting me. Like there's a couple really nice guys, and they own a cabinet shop, and they gave this job to me to do. So that, although not super profitable when I looking it back, that was probably the biggest to start, the biggest project that I had going. I mean, it was a very unique project, required a lot of thought and consideration. And it was interesting that it was the company that I left. So obviously there was no bad feelings at all. And in fact, they still call me now and again just to check in. So
That's wicked. That shows that you left a good impression on them, and
yeah.
it's almost like you doing that as a like a passion project, but a full-time passion project. If you were a good employee of theirs, they shouldn't hate on you for it.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's all about, like I sort of said a minute ago, it's all about people. You're good to people and they'll be good to you. And I was always very, you know, I take quality and what I do very seriously. So when I worked for other people, I take things deadly seriously. Like it's all the older guys at the shops always loved me because I had a different mentality. My work ethic is like almost extreme
Yeah.
because I want to make sure I do the best job every time, and that's why I stress over things a lot. You know, now I'm stressing over my own projects, but when I work for other people, there's a lot of stress to make sure things are done correctly. So I think that really translates to, you know, seeing me as a little bit more than just, you know, a laborer or something like that. So I would say that's a big part of it. Why they wanted to continue to support me, and I always sort of talk differently. I was openly telling them that I'm going to start my own business right off when they hired me. So
Yeah, that's good. You were up front.
yeah, I mean, it could cause issues down the line. Suddenly, I'm quitting on them. I mean, the first person I worked for when I was an apprentice getting my red seal, I said, you know, I'm looking to do this, and he said, well, I guess you're quitting then. That was what, and then, you know, I don't talk to him ever now
Yeah,
because his mentality was not supportive, and you know, and that's a big learning that I've had is, you know, I don't just learn from people doing the right thing. I also learn from people doing the wrong thing.
yeah.
So when I see how employers have acted with me in the past, just looking at me like a, you know, a machine, basically,
Mm.
I don't want that to continue. And I see that in business somewhat. There's I call it the older way of doing business compared to just collaborative and the with not for, like I've said a couple of times.
Yeah. It's times are changing.
Yeah.
It's definitely like the different kinds of employers and bosses out there that they want a lot of smaller business, family businesses. The employees that they put around them, they want to treat like family. They want to build a community around it. And then there's the big companies that's like you're just serial number, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Then so basically, if you're giving the person that impression up front, or even while they're working for you, they're not going to be loyal either. Like it's not a good way. So if you treat people well, it's not always even about money. It's about being treated well and respected.
100%.
So yeah, what you're doing right now with your staff, it sounds like it's more of that. That's just like, let's build something really cool here, guys.
Yeah.
Let's build it to as big as we possibly can, and let's do it together as a family,
100%.
as a community. That's what we are all about here: is community, multiple businesses under one roof,
Yeah.
working together, trying to help each other out. And if you do that for people, like, I honestly think now more than ever, it's about that. It's about the people behind the business. That's what we do this podcast essentially, is to kind of show the person behind their business, because funds are tight right now.
Yeah.
If they're going to spend their money, they want to spend their money with somebody who's respected, loyal, and just a good person.
Exactly. 100%. You want to work with people that you trust and you like and you get along with. I mean, you couldn't have said it better, really.
Yeah.
Like, it's about creating community. And that just is across the board, whether it's within your own company or all the companies combined. If we all do well, we all do well. Why would you not want to? I mean, you couldn't have said it better, really.
When you started and it was a clean slate, like you just like, I'm going to do this, what was the most challenging part? Was it like supplies? Was it?
I would say it was tracking and financials.
Yeah.
Because I'm a creative person. I'm not a financially minded person. It's been a lot of work to learn that side. I had some pretty intense struggles with that. And then starting off, right, financially, it's tough to begin with. I mean, you're starting off with I had a small business loan, which doesn't go that far really, and then just struggle and struggle and struggle. I've had a lot of help though. strangely, the upper office that I've now taken over, the people that moved in up there when I leased it out, they were shutting down their multi-million-dollar company. And they took to me. They really liked me for some reason. I got along with them well. I still am friends with them. And I had a period of time in my business where the cash flow was so low, I almost had to just shut down completely.
Yeah.
But they paid for 4 months of the entire shop lease out of their own pocket to help me.
That's amazing.
And I'm still friends. Like, I've been on at their home. I've been to the guy's yacht before. I've had a few instances where somebody tried to buy me out, and he talked me through all that kind of thing. And obviously, I didn't get bought out. But yeah, I mean, I keep coming back to people, like connecting with people. And he started with almost nothing, his business, and he sees how I've started, and they've maintained that that support. So it's just, I think maintaining that support overall across, like we said, community is so important. And the more you grow, the more you can support other people. And it just comes back to you. If you support other people down the line, they can come back and support you. And it never hurts to help somebody.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to as well. As long as you're not being hurt in any way, if you can help somebody, I say why not?
Yeah, if you could set an impression on somebody who's already succeeded in a very high level.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like multi-million-dollar company, they probably at some point got that help too. It's like if you have drive, ambition, it's not always about the funds that you have. If you have a great idea and you have the passion and you meet the right people, and that's the thing, like you never know who you're going to run into on a daily basis. That's why, like, I'll bring it up again, our space here, the community, the amount of people that walk in the door that are from so many different industries, but some of them are just like they own multiple businesses.
Yeah.
And it's not all in the same, like I'll say, trade in the same basically industry.
Yeah.
And if you create these relationships where it's friends to almost a family feeling.
Yeah.
The basically the possibilities are endless because you never know where you're going to go from there. It's kind of, I think entrepreneurs like it that way. If it's stagnant, it's just the same. I don't know if it's ADHD in most entrepreneurs or what, but it's something where if you can grow and try to learn new things and meet these people within a community, and it's going to help you out so greatly.
100%. I'd say entrepreneurs don't want to be bored.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing is I don't want to be bored. That's why I take on the crazy things we take on, because I don't like to be bored. And like you said, what's the newest thing? How do we learn something new? How do we learn from other people? I love learning from other people. Like I'm a sponge all the time. If I can learn something from you, I don't care who you are. And I tell staff that anytime. I say, teach me. If you have something you want to show me, great. Let's learn this new thing. Let's try this new thing, which is a little bonkers sometimes when I'm trying bizarre things or I take on something maybe that I don't even know how to do. But I think that is an entrepreneurial way. It's like, I don't want to be bored. Let's find something cool. Let's connect, You
have to grow. You have to learn. Like if you think as an entrepreneur that you can just like stop learning and just like you have your groove in, you're just going to continue this way for the next how many years.
Yeah.
That's another thing that like proved the last few years. If you don't have a social media presence or just like an online presence, you don't know how to promote yourself, market yourself.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Exactly.
And that's where the businesses that have died in the last few years, it's a lot of those people that didn't change their ways and are stuck in their ways. And it's just like, nope. If you're a restaurant that's like, I'm not going on DoorDash, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I just want walk-ins. It's just, or like we'll deliver it with our one car.
Yeah.
And sadly those a lot of those mom and pop businesses that were just stubborn, didn't adapt.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad to see, but you're totally right. You have to adapt. You have to be flexible forever. You can never stop being flexible. And I mean, it's kind of like Darwinism a little bit realistically in the business world is if you can't keep up, you're not going to keep up. No matter how, many people things are changing over, technology, AI and all these things, like you got to be in it. Yeah. And you got to be willing to be in it because things are so fast paced these days. We're not in the 70s or the 50s where things are a little more slow. Things don't change quite as quickly. Things change like that, right?
Yeah.
Like in my industry, I'm looking at 3D printing, how we can start to elevate what we offer within that, because that's a big avenue that's changing. It's sort of in, preliminary stages. Things are really expensive right now, but keeping up with how things change. Like you say, the DoorDash for restaurants and stuff is you gotta do what people want.
Yeah.
You can't just stay the same. And it's just, I don't want to. I think it's exciting to do new things realistically.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. I don't want to be bored, like I said a minute ago.
How much has your industry changed in 5 years?
Well, I would say it's because of COVID, things have changed quite a bit in terms of events. It's tough to say exactly how much things have changed because my industry is sort of across a wide board. It's just a strange thing. I'm not sure I could say exactly how it's changed in a really clear way, but I've definitely seen that it's starting to come back. Which is what I found interesting was that the Zoom and all this kind of stuff. People thought it was just going to take over. People just want to stay working from home. They'd have so trade show booths. We do trade show booths as well. It's one of the things that we build. And people, it sort of seemed like they were scared that was never going to come back. But people want to do real things. They want to be part of real things. Like that's not going to change. And I've found that quite interesting that I think it's something you can count on, that people want to connect with other people for real.
Yeah.
Like face to face, talking, interacting, like the trade show industry. It's an interesting one. Like I was in Las Vegas twice last month, and I was also in Nashville, and people want to connect with other people, and it can never. I don't think that'll ever change to just over the internet, because that's not real.
No.
And you don't feel the same connection. Like talking to you right now, that's a real connection. I'm actually talking to you. You're right there. If this was over, video or something, it's never the same.
No, it's
so
not the same.
I would say I found that quite interesting, that I think we can always count on people will always be people, and we need that connection.
Yeah, I think it took some people longer than others to kind of go nuts and realize that they need communication in person, like face to face. Some people more than others. Some people can live with the at-home work forever.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that because I think I would go nuts. It's not something for me. We're promoting a space like this.
Yeah.
Where this is like essentially for people that have the option of working from home, but it's not for them as well. And
yeah.
I heard the radio talking about it this morning. More CEOs and stuff are saying people come back to work.
Yeah.
And people either are fighting it or like, thank you. I needed this because, as like you said, face to face, there's nothing like it. We've started doing more events again in the last year here, and you just see people needed it.
Yeah.
Introverts, like there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need it as much as you think. Maybe not all the time.
Yeah.
But people need communication.
100%. I am an introvert, but I need that. I don't maybe love it, but when I'm in it, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I know it can be tough to force yourself sometimes when you are that introvert. You want to be at home or you're a homebody. But when you force yourself out there, it's great. You feel that connection. And I know for myself, I really am an introvert. And, I've obviously owning a business, I've had to come out of my shell in an intense way. But I found that it's once you break through that shell, you feel that you were missing something.
Yeah.
And although I totally think that there are definitely people that are very introverted and might enjoy it, I would say in general, if it's not a longevity thing, there's no longevity in that. Mm-hmm. Like you can work from home, but you're going to be missing something. You may not know what it is, but my personal feeling is that is what you're missing. You're missing that connection with people. Yeah. Because that's what we are. We're a community-minded species. Yeah. We're all about communities and towns. Why do we have cities that are so interconnected? Like they're so compact. Yeah. We want to be with people. Yeah, and introverts like essentially will meet with other introverts and then hang out in their own way where it's not like in your face. Because there's, as you know, entrepreneurs, there's some extroverts. Oh yeah. Right? So it's like having that balance. But in communities like what we have here and just certain businesses sounds like that you have, it's like the people can mesh together, but you can also, if it's tuck your way yourself in a corner and then come out and socialize when you want. Yeah. I mean, we don't want to go to the traditional way of work where that was just kind of like 9 to 5, head down, just be miserable all the time. But I think there's a balance and we have to find it. And I think slowly humanity is going to find what they want again. And it's been an interesting few years. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I just looking at the time here.
We are getting close to the 30-minute mark.
All good.
So I want everybody to know where they can find you, your company, and just find out how to contact you if
For sure.
they're interested in.
So if you want to contact us, feel free to just go on the website, www.mjyfabrication.com. We're also on Instagram at MJY Fabrication. Our phone number is 778-840-0485, or just Google MJY Fabrication. We'll pop up right away. Let's build some cool stuff together.
Yeah, I guess like if you want cool ideas, you want something you've never done before, right? That's like,
yeah, we'll make whatever you want, and we'll work together to make it happen.
that's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being on PoCommunity, and I appreciate it, and I wish you luck with your business.
Thanks.
It sounds like you got some cool stuff going on, man.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys for watching PoCommunity today. My guest was Michael Young from MJY Fabrication. See you later.